right, so we're back in the shop with Alex here, and we're getting ready to continue this install process. I was out sick last week and couldn't be here, and Alex kept moving on the installation. So you want to catch us up on what you did while I was out?
Yeah, well, I finished getting the steering rack in, getting that all prepped. It's all hooked up, ready to go. I got a new fluid reservoir installed.
Nice. I
got the LCA tab gusset kit in, or reinforcement kit.
Well done.
And then I got the front differential in with the drive line all torqued up, ready to go.
Wow, that's quite a bit of work.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. So all in, how much time would you say you have in that stuff?
Probably about another 10 hours from where we left out. It's way more than you'd think.
Yeah. And so what do we got going on today, you think?
Today we're going to be assembling the rest of the lift. Upper control arms, lower control arms, putting in the shocks.
Get those axles in.
Yep. Get the axles in. Installing the limiting straps, getting those welded on.
Nice.
Checking our travel. They do give you a small bump stop, a thin, low-profile bump stop for.
Right, so you're not
for those
limiting your up travel too much.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I just want to check to make sure if I have to do any fender modifications for the 37s.
Okay. Cool. Sounds like a lot.
Yeah.
Well, let's get nerdy.
Alex did a tremendous amount of work in the weeks leading up to this shop day. I witnessed about half of what it took to prep the steering rack prior to getting it installed, including burning out one of the factory mounting bushings and adapting one of the line fittings. Alex continued to work on the required drilling, welding, and paint on the chassis crossmember and got the new rack bolted in place just ahead of this shoot. He also welded in the lower control arm frame brace kit, also from Marlin Crawler. This series of plates are designed to strengthen the LCA mounting brackets and retain the alignment settings, as well as deflect rocks to prevent bending of the cab tabs. We started with the upper control arms. If you've changed these out on your Tacoma, you know how tight it can be to remove and replace the driver's side UCA bolt.
All right, one upper control arm installed.
With the driver's side upper control arm in, we moved to the passenger side. This one went in much easier, and then it was on to the lowers.
We got this guy on. It took quite a bit of doing. The washers that come with the kit are a little difficult to get in place, especially after Alex welded up the lower control arm frame brackets, which kind of may have misaligned things a little bit for us. So yeah, this lower was a bear to get in. That's a pain. What did it take to get that lower control arm in place?
It was pretty tough with the washers. You got to get the right sequence, A, B, C, and D from the instructions. I chose to weld up my frame brace, my brace kit first. So I think when I did that, I put a little too much heat in there and stuff got a little out of alignment.
Yeah, it took both of us to kind of manipulate the control arm and get that thing in place with those washers. But so what else was kind of challenging here, you think?
Oh, the cam bolts were a little tough because just again that frame brace kit ahead of time, like you have more manipulation room with it not in place. And I also chose to swap out the straight grease zerks with 90 degree, because they'd be tucked back in here and there's almost no way to get to them if they're straights. Maybe they had a different idea in mind with maybe taking it apart and dropping it all the way so that you can grease it from the top, but with 90 degree in there, you can definitely, with just like normal compression, you can get in right there and get grease in the back.
Yeah, I helped with that, and it was pretty easy after the installation in the 90s. So yeah, we're gonna move on to the other side. Hopefully with the knowledge of what we experienced on this side, we should be able to get that one in a little faster. We do have the upper end swung out of the way just for now, and we'll be getting spindles in here shortly as well, hopefully today.
For some reason, the passenger side components just decided to go together without a fuss.
It took us like 10 minutes.
Wow, that was insane.
Then it was on to the coilovers. Alex went with some beautiful extended travel units from ADS made right here in Tucson. Again, the passenger side went together twice as fast as the driver's side. With these pieces together, we decided to tighten everything to final spec before we blocked our access to the bolts with the spindles.
So we can torque these, torque those.
Next up, axles.
Alex was especially excited to install these dust seals on his fresh RCV axles prior to getting them put in.
Here's a mofo.
I got to do the honors and punch the axles into the differential. This is a truly satisfying sound.
Jam it home. There it is. It's all right.
With the axles in, we could finally tackle the spindles and tie all these suspension bits together. Having only previously worked with factory spindles, it was really cool to see these monster components go in. These are completely different and no comparison can be made between the two.
pretty good progress today, I think. Most of the kit is on at this point. We just kind of run into a couple snags here with kind of, as you said, Alex, like order of operations kind of things. So
Yeah, I mean, working off of a floor in a garage is a little different than having the truck up on a proper car lift. So the instructions that they give you are kind of more geared towards it being on a lift.
yeah,
Letting the spindle hang down on the lower control arm. We kind of just put the spindle on the lower, slid it up, got the axle shaft in with the nut on so that it didn't fall down, and then we kind of just we have to jack it up a little bit to get the upper control arm on. This will droop far beyond where you would want it to, because stuff starts interfering. The boot starts hitting the lower control arm. The spindle will actually touch the spring. There's a lot of things that I still have to do. The front diff needs fluid. Got to mount my reservoir here. Probably adjust the line just a little bit so that I can get it against the frame here. Got to do the extended brake line kit.
you want to get the limit strap on too.
I do want to get the limit strap on first, because these are going to droop far beyond what this will extend to. So I don't want to risk damaging any of this the steering tie rods or bending the rack or anything by putting this on too soon and letting it droop too far.
Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. Then it's just what, brakes and then alignment and wheel balance and stuff. Yeah. Very cool, man. It seems like we're on the final stretch here. Maybe what, another weekend or two, and we'll have this thing up and running.
Yep.
Very cool. I cannot wait to see what it looks like on the front end with these big old 37s on here. It should be pretty cool.
I left Alex that evening thinking he would need another week to get the limit straps, brakes, and steering system ready for the tires to go on. I guess the excitement was just too much for him to slow down. He sent me this video the very next afternoon.